Forest craft, but in Neutral Forest, it's a neutral card, which helps pump your neutral effects a little bit higher, and you have the combos with Saha Quill, so you can end the game a little bit faster as well.
And occasionally, you might care about the fact that it has bait.
Sometimes, yes. Yeah. Sometimes you need to kill that Bahamut, or else you lose, and you got to take it out. Yeah. All right, so we get to see Neutral Forest against Shadowcraft. So far, we've seen Forestcraft pretty much dominate Shadowcraft over the last couple days.
Yeah, especially if games go well for both sides. I feel like Forestcraft tends to come out on top a little bit.
Yep.
And I think really, we talked about these key points a little bit earlier on. A lot of it comes down to what are your methods of dealing with the board. For White Wolf Forest, that was a lot of brambles and just trying to play out tokens and doing it that way. A lot for Neutral Forest is going to be in the ETA and things like the Elf Twin Assault and things like the Hector.
Right. Now, the thing that Neutral Forest doesn't have are things like Wood of Brambles and stuff like that. So I feel like their early game's a little bit weaker against Shadowcraft, but their mid to late is slightly better because they do have the Saha Quill Israfil combo, which has been, I mean, time-tested against Shadowcraft to be very, very good.
Yeah. Praetorian with the one of Orthrus.
Dude,
Orthrus
is so cool. I missed that card.
It might be very effective here. We'll see.
I love it as a one-of. The reason I love it as a one-of is because it's almost always amazing on the play, almost always terrible on the draw unless the board fits up perfectly for it.
Here it comes.
But when you're on the play and you have it, it feels so
This is the perfect
good.
Situation for it.
It is.
There's only one play possible, Praetorian. It's a pretty good play.
Yeah. Doesn't really matter what you hit with it. Goblin being the best.
Bop. And now you feel really bad if you're Classic Man.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So without Orthrus, this game, a normal Shadowcraft game that we've seen before, with Orthrus, turned it into this, oh crap, I might actually lose already. Yeah.
You only have one source of damage here. That means the 2, 1, and 1 stay. So you're doing 4, and maybe 6 with an Evolution Orb, and at this point I would just say do it.
And you've already got the O-Dial. Yeah, it's your first Evo point. If you get any threat to play next turn, I mean, maybe you even play the Aisha. Like, you're just going in right now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I would probably do, is play the Aisha, the Evolve phase.
Yeah, I mean, Lurching Corpse is a pretty safe play as well. I honestly don't even think you have to care about this Impartial Strix. I think you can just ignore it.
Yeah. Rush this into the Strix as well if you're feeling Nancy.
And I think that's just going to be it. I don't think there's anything that Classic Man can do in response to this.
Oh, no.
Orthrus, too strong.
Wow. My god.
Only 1 damage needs to hit face next turn because of the O-Dial.
Man, this harkens back to Shadowcraft when it was a lot of aggressive early game cards to get Orthrus on top of the servers, on top of the Phantom Howls. Okay.
I mean, the 1 damage is already sitting on the board that we see.
You can just O-Dial and swing it into the 6th floor, and then get 3.
Yep, this works too.
Yeah.
Any which way you
so
slice
many ways to do it. Yep.
Any which way you slice it. Praetorian, man, that draw.
Bye-bye.
The one of Orthrus on the play, exactly when he needed it. Finals day. You know what, Praetorian, I'll say this about him. He builds good decks. He plays really well. When he gets to the top levels of competition, his decks just work for him.
I know, yeah. He actually does very well in bracket play especially. He made it into the previous seasons of the Shadowverse Open as well, so he's a known name. Had a slightly harder time in the round robin stages, but was still always a very good competitor.
Yep.
And I think a lot of that, I feel like he's probably grown too from the competition.
And look, out of the 3 decks he brought, look at what got banned. And again, another nod to not playing Shadowcraft. Yet another class that got banned because they're too scared to play against it.
Yeah. And now we see this is a much different scenario here, right? Because Praetorian now has Daria on 2 games.
That's
rather
right.
Than Daria on 1. Which I think was the toughest thing for Shadow Shadet in the game previous, was he had to just rely on Daria in 1 game.
And of course, Daria can get bad draws, but if what I was saying is any true about Praetorian, he's probably going to get his Daria pretty quickly here. His decks, man. Especially when we watched him play his Portalcraft deck, like he had Deus Ex every single game, like everything just flowed very well.
Without fail.
Without fail, yeah.
Ooh. Oh my god.
If he gets the Daria, okay. I was gonna say this is a very good setup, but he's still got plenty of card draw, so not
Very
worried.
Insightful. Interesting. If you mulligan, or if you on your first draw pulled the triple insight, would you still have held on the first turn?
Ooh, if you have triple insight on turn 1, if you're going first, maybe. If you're going second, maybe. Maybe. Triple insight's
it's still
very
the
good.
same, right? Because you're not actually advancing the game any quicker because you're going to draw anyways.
Right. Plus, with the triple insight, you give yourself the opportunity of a turn 4 Daria. I'm a high roll player. I mean, if you're building a high roll deck, you got to go as high roll as it gets. And if you draw that Daria,
yeah,
it's too good.
The double insight on the second turn, and then on the third turn you can insight into whatever else.
And I don't know, maybe somebody on Reddit's done it somewhere of the math of keeping insight versus mulliganing it for the chance to draw Daria, because you're technically drawing with that card too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not sure what the actual math on which is better, but looks like he got there, and he saved both of the insights. This is a very good draw.
Yeah, this is great. So
He's
I
got
think
the
you'll be
magic
pretty
owl.
happy to trade into Lyriel, right?
Yeah, he could even trade into the 1-2. I mean, this is a slower neutral forest deck. It's not like he's worried about getting run over.
That's what he wants to do. Leaves Lyriel in play. Already down to 18, and ClassicMan has some opportunity here. There's a little wait before the storm, right?
That's right. There is going to be build-up, except next turn he's got insight into Magic Owl. And he's got 2 Chimeras.
4 boosts in 1 turn. That Daria is going down to 5 play points. His Ogler is going to be at 0. His Chimera is going to be at 5 and 3.
Honestly, he can just play in such a way to where his first Daria play is alongside of things, so his redraw doesn't even need to have anything spectacular.
This gets a little complicated, right? Because your Magic Owl won't necessarily be able to push past the Strix.
That's true.
So again, ClassicMan landing into scenarios where he can actually punish a little bit, and the fact that Daria just got pulled there is not necessarily happy times.
Yeah, he might have to go with the Ogler play here, but he did get a Conjure Golem to play alongside of it. If you, well, okay, never mind. He was 1 play point away from doing that.
Yeah, I think the Ogler here is smart.
Yeah, you can't let them tempo you like that.
Yeah.
That's a little bit too much.
Because the next turn, I mean, it just gets worse, right? If that Strix survives, then you think about, okay, the Hector came down on top of that. You don't have anything on board.
Right.
The Strix can evolve and swing. It just gets really tough after that point.
That's right. So yeah, Hector, great play here. Lyriel, a fine play as well. He can set up a Happy Pig alongside of that if that's what he wants to do.
And he still has a good amount of boost this turn, right? You still have the Owl Evolve. You have a Conjure Golem now.
Yeah, his hand's great. I mean, he can kind of just unload when he wants to, which is nice. And if he can get a turn where he doesn't have to play around Beauty and the Beast, he can just play these Chimeras out and clear the board that way. And not have to use any of these Evolution Orbs. Or he could, you know, do the crazy thing in pre-Evo like a boss. I always like those plays.
Like a boss.
Like a boss. Now, this is a tricky thing. Like, when you're playing against Daria, sometimes you play these 4/4s out, and you're like, all right, this is pretty sturdy. It's got ward. But if they play a Chimera, it just gets blown up. Do you pre-Evo against it? It's a really hard call to make.
Okay. No pre-Evo. Blade Mage gets drawn, too, so just adding more of those followers that you want to spell boost.
Yeah, this Blade Mage is probably going to get lost in the wind here. A little bit too slow on the draw here.
Chimera. This means a turn 6 Daria is probably going to be what it is.
Yep, and a lot of beef in the hand of ClassicMan, but again, it's very slow beef. Takes time.
Yeah.
What's the slow cooking beef? That's like prime rib, right? Prime rib takes a long time to cook.
A slow roast, pot roast. I don't know.
I don't know. I think prime rib is like the one that you cook the longest.
Prime rib?
I think so.
I haven't had ribs in so long.
You're done for.
Well, prime rib is like a steak. Yeah. Right, and the Strix coming down to help pull the board back for ClassicMan. But again, with these Chimeras in hand, they just shut down these big followers so well.
They're so effective, and especially at lower and lower costs, they're just efficient removal, really.
Now with the Piercing Rune in hand, too, to clear out the Happy Pig if he wants to go that option.
Give it another Owl. The
Yeah.
double boost. Now you got the Piercing Rune and the Conjure Golem.
I don't see any way for Classic Man to come back from this type of
Does
tempo.
the piercing rune damage happen first or the pig heal?
I think piercing rune damage happens first.
Up, and the heal. Yep. Okay.
So if you order that correctly, good to note. You can actually win if they have a happy pig.
Yeah.
Come on!
Oh wow, he's saving.
Interesting. Praetorian is investing.
Yeah, he's investing. He's getting all the resources out of his hands first. I mean, he knows he's got the second Darian hand already, so the chances to redraw another one not as high as he would want. I like him extracting all the value out of his hand. Plus, he's presenting boards that are very hard to deal with. How does a Forestcraft deck outside of Elf Twins Assault deal with this?
Yeah, I don't think there's a lot of ways. There's no Isafil either, so this is a Hakville Isafil, and that wouldn't even be good enough. There's more than enough stats on the board to deal with this.
Being the Beast is the defense that Classic Man is putting up here.
Okay. The Blade Mage can be used to clear it. Yeah. Easy decision. Play the Daria for 1.
With a bang and a boom!
Full hand, 4 play points left, full board.
Oh, nice. Chimera and the Flame Destroyer.
Man, just such beef. The third Chimera drawn.
Mm-hmm.
Now, does he want to trade with this? I think you always have to, right? That's kind of a
Yeah.
every time.
Yeah, I think so.
And then he can even set up a ward to protect his board next turn if he wants to go that route.
Mm-hmm. That'd be good. You might even get a ward off the Mysterious Knowledge, right?
Mm-hmm. Also an option. If he goes Mysterious Knowledge, though, he shuts off the ability to get the Golem Assault ward.
Mm-hmm. But it could have 2 wards.
Maybe. I like guarantees.
Okay, so it's probably going to be the Knowledge play.
Mm-hmm.
Ow! Ow!
Oh, not trading at all. Is there no area in Classic Man's deck?
I don't think that there has to not
there
be.
has
There
to
has
not be,
to not
right?
be.
Yeah, I mean, come on now.
Top deck. Yeah.
Okay.
I think that spells doom.
Yeah, this is a fine play if you've looked at your opponent's deck list and know they don't have
Yeah.
area, because if you just did this and then they go, well, all right, I guess I win now. Game's over, so.
Even evolved. Does that help you live?
Doesn't hurt. The Chimera is going to really
8
help get
down
around
to
that,
4.
too.
No, Chimera's just going to blow through this. And then everything else can go face. Yep.
Yep, and that's it.
Praetorian, even if you take out Portalcraft, you can't stop.
That's right.
You can't stop the pressure.
That's crazy to me that you would ban out somebody's Portalcraft deck over their Daria deck because I mean, Praetorian has shown that he can win a tournament with Portalcraft,
Yeah.
right? I mean, but Daria's like, whew, letting that through over the Portalcraft. That's mind-boggling to me.
Tough. Classic Man takes the loss, and Praetorian gonna earn himself a spot in the next stage of the tournament.
That's right.
And so, yeah, I mean, the games are pushing fast. It really comes down to these side decks presenting Daria as an option now.
Right. I mean,
Whereas that wasn't
yeah,
the
we've got Daria, we've got Dragoncraft back, we've got different forms of other decks, whether it be